back again. There's a bit of an update that I need to get out there. There's been a slight change of plans to the way the Linkway stuff is going to go. I think it needs to be discussed in a video, partly so I can monetize this update video and make some money off it, because I didn't make a lot of money last month because my output was pretty low. But more importantly, because I don't want you guys to be looking forward to a certain episode, because one of them has gone through a major overhaul, one that quite a few people had requested, and I think I need to let you guys know ahead of time so that you're not hugely disappointed. The order was going to go Noob, Serena, Smoke, Cyrax. That was the idea for the next 4. But there's been a slight change of plan because there were some things I wanted to discuss and I wasn't sure how to do it originally. And at one point the Noob episode was going to be about the 2 brothers, but it's going to be a Noob episode. What about Bihan specifically and how he's been handled in the more recent games, particularly MK11. There were some things I wanted to discuss, some small details, like one about the relationship of the 2 brothers, or this little interesting thing I noticed in regards to Kuai Liang and technology. And so I wasn't sure what to do with those. I was thinking, should I just ignore those 2 things and just put them into a video about the MK2 comic, because that's probably going to get made at some point? Should I just make a dedicated Kuai Liang episode and discuss those? Or I was really struggling to figure out what to do. So the solution I've come to is the Bihan episode is going to go ahead as it was intended. That I'm currently working on that. The audio is edited. It's going to be about 6.5 minutes long, because I need a break from the Injustice video because I really struggled to get the drive to work on that. And if I don't have something else to work on instead, then I'm not working on anything. So there's that. Then the one after that will be Serena, unchanged. Rather than Smoke, Cyrax, it's going to be Cyrax, Kuai Liang. Because I realised that I mentioned this in the video as well, because I've got them all scripted. I scripted them all to make sure I was discussing everything appropriately. The way Smoke was handled in the newest timeline, the current timeline, is really just kind of endemic of the larger problem with how Kuai Liang is written. And so I think that had to become a Kuai Liang episode. In fact, that's actually one of the things I was worried about, because I was thinking, but should I do a Kuai Liang episode here? Because part of this issue with him is already discussed in the Frost, Noob and Serena episodes. Ultimately, it is more a problem with how Sub-Zero has been handled than Smoke. And there are some other small parts to touch upon with it. So because it's about Kuai Liang, you know, like the main guy for the Linkway, I figured it made a lot more sense to close on that one rather than Cyrax, you know? And you might say, well, why not end it with Bihan in the original plan? Well, the reason for that is that the Serena one kind of builds on what the Bihan one establishes. So that was always set in stone. It had to be Bihan, then Serena. And then the Kuai Liang one's kind of going to build on little bits from the other ones. It's kind of make it feel like it was all intended to be all together this way, rather than just cobbled together as it went along. You know something that MK11 tries to do and utterly fails at. So that's going to happen. Before I launch into the MK11 set or the old timeline set, I'll do the Shao Kahn one. Although that could be part of the MK11 set, depends on how that script ends up being balanced. I don't know. One of the things that was actually holding this whole thing off was the fact that I wanted to get specific footage for some of them, particularly the Noob one. I got an idea for a bit I want to do, and I need specific footage. I have MK11 now, and so I can move ahead with Noob. I didn't want to put off the whole Linkway thing just for Noob's sake, so the plan originally was to just remove that part and then make it a separate video. Fortunately, I don't have to do that. I have MK11 now, so hopefully it will turn out well. Of course, I'm still working on the Injustice video. The audio for what I've currently got scripted is edited. I've got little bits and pieces that I still need to record footage for. It's mostly edited for that part, but I think there are some things that I didn't mention. I need to figure out what I've left out and where to put it. Like, I want to talk a bit about how the endings and intros feel like they're written by completely different people, because there are huge discrepancies in certain things. So that needs to be properly addressed. And then it'll also kind of lay the groundwork for a bit I want to talk about with MK11 when that comes out. Again, just because I have MK11 now doesn't mean that the critique is any closer to fruition, coming to fruition. That is going to have to wait until when all the DLC is out. And right now we don't have any idea even when Nightwolf's coming out. Probably sometime in August. I guess we're going to get a character every month or 2, depending on how many characters there are. So we'll see how that goes, but the video is still going to be a long way off. Until then, there's still plenty of other stuff to talk about. I'm still going to be criticising MK11 with a bunch of wasted potentials, but I don't want to just overload the channel with just like MK and Netheron content. So if you guys want to see other stuff, by all means let me know what kind of things you want to see. And don't just say, I want to see you cover this series on wasted potential or a line through time. As I've said before, you need to pitch the idea, you know, because if it's something I'm not familiar with, why would I go into it? And even if I am familiar with it, I might not see what's been wasted the way you do. Sometimes people will say, do this on a line through time, and it's like the whole thing is completely linear. There's no point covering it. That's why I got so pissed off when a bunch of people said, do Kirby. There's nothing to do there. Come on, guys. Other MK content, I'm still doing MK Chronicles, and I'm going to be doing videos about MK Chronicles to try and spread the word about it. People still ask me what MK Chronicles is, even though I've had videos where I explain. It's short stories I write based on MK that use a lot of the ideas I bring up in Wasted Potential. So I'm going to be doing videos about that, basically talking about 5 or 10 chapters and saying, here's what this chapter is about. This is the thing that inspired me to write this thing I thought was wasted or something I thought was a cool idea and wanted to explore, and then just kind of go through my thought process on certain ideas that I explored in it. So those are going to be coming up at some point. And there's still some of those that have been in the works for a while and still to do, like the third part in the Johnny Cage trilogy. Because I put that one off until MK11 came out so I could see if there's anything worth bringing up in that. It turned out there wasn't. Johnny Cage is pretty badly wasted in MK11. Not a hint at a wasted potential, by the way. I have no plans for a Johnny Cage one because I don't know what I could really do differently. Yeah, I might do a Sindel wasted potential for MK11 after she comes out, depending on how she's handled. I've discussed pretty much everything there is to say, but if they don't go with this idea that Sindel just thinks this is the case, because going off the leaks, it don't seem like Sindel just thinks that she did these horrible things in the past, because no one really argues the point with her, even though there are already plenty of intros in the game that make it quite clear. No, Sindel, she did love her daughter. Garrus confirms this. No, you think if anyone would know about Sindel and wouldn't necessarily have a motive to lie about it, yeah, Garrus would be one of them. We'll see, depending on what there is to work with. Because maybe they will drop that reveal, oh, she's just brainwashed and she just thinks that's how things played out. They probably won't do that, because I hear that the team at NetherRealm just wanted to make Sindel evil, because they wanted more evil women, even though pretty much the entire female roster already has an evil counterpart, if not being completely evil already. In total, there are more women on the evil side than there are on the good side. So I hope that's not true. I hope that the storytellers at NetherRealm aren't so petty. But unfortunately, with how things have gone in recent years, I wouldn't put it past them. And someone did say after the last update video that this is something I should say in every video, and I think they do have a pretty good point. So I might start doing that all the time from now on, but I'm definitely going to do it now. Alright, that's it, fuck off.